Have you ever watched a movie and just been like, wait, what? What? Why did that just happen? How did that happen? Was that even necessary at all? What the hell is going on? Well, I've seen a mountain of movies in my lifetime, and what I want to do is just make a video. I want to change things up a little bit here and create a top 5 list. Now, this is kind of inspired by what the Nostalgia Critic does with his top 11 lists and what PMRants does with some of his list videos as well. By the way, check out PMRants. That channel is blowing up. I saw his channel the other day. The guy's got almost 20,000 subscribers in just like half a year. I was like, I had no idea this guy was blowing up, and I feel, honored to be part of some of his videos. I've filmed cameos for him, and I've plugged them here and there for you. So anyways, good on you, PMRants. Anyways, check out his channel. Anyway, I've seen a lot of movies in my lifetime, and I have in front of me here a list of what I consider the top 5 wait what moments in movie history. Now, this may differ from what you guys would put on a list like this, because obviously there's movies that have stuff that's more ridiculous than the shit I have on my list that are just movies I just haven't even seen. So anyways, if you have, oh wait, what moment you want to share and you want to make a video about it or put it in the comments, whatever, do what you gotta do. Anyway, this is my top 5 list of wait, what moments in movie history. That's as good a title as I could think of. Anyway, number 5, Adventures in Babysitting. This was a movie I watched a bajillion times when I was a kid. Except there's one scene in this movie that I don't understand, and I feel the movie should have clarified a little more. It's the scene where the babysitter is, being chased by the bad guys because the little girl has the Playboy magazine, you gotta watch the movie. Anyway, the bad guys are chasing the good guys, and they go into this nightclub. It's a jazz music nightclub, and to make a long story short, the babysitter and the good guys' children are on the stage, and they're approached by one of the people at the jazz club that is performing that night, and they're just saying, "Oh, excuse us, we're just trying to get through here." And the guy's like, "Well, nobody leaves here without singing the blues." And I'm like, okay, this white girl better get her blues freestyle on, because these people look like they're gonna fuck her up. So anyways, to make a longer story even shorter, the white girl and the kids, they perform a jazz routine, a blues routine, whatever you want to call it, and the audience loves it and they're cheering, and then they say, okay, yeah, you can go ahead and go. The bad guys are trying to get them as they're going off stage. And the jazz music, the blues musicians are like, nobody leaves here without singing the blues, and everyone's like stone faced, like they're gonna kill him, like, you better sing the blues, motherfucker, or we're gonna kill you. And then the scene just ends. And then I'm like, well, I guess we're not gonna see the bad guys in the rest of the movie, but then we do! And I'm like, what happened in that club? They never show what happens in the club. It's like, did they sing the blues? Did they murder everyone in the blues club? Like, what the fuck happened there? And why didn't they explain it? Always irritated me. Just shows you how a kid's movie can piss you the hell off. Number 4. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Another movie that I've seen 100 times when I was a kid. It's a little movie called Big Trouble in Little China. Oh my god, this movie is great. But you know what? There is one scene in the beginning of this movie that to this day I still go, wait, what? What? And you might know what I'm talking about if you know I'm referring to the beginning of the movie, and that is, why doesn't that fucking bottle break when Wang hits it with a machete? Oh my god! To this day I watch that, I go, why doesn't it break? Alright, to basically sum up the scene here, Jack Burton and Wang are, gambling, and he basically gives a double or nothing bet to Wang, where he's like, oh, I'll tell you what, double or nothing that, I could break this bottle in half, Jack, and Jack's like, well, no, not that bottle, this bottle, and hands him another bottle. It's just like a large-sized beer bottle, and Wang has a machete. And Jack's like, are you out of your mind, Wang? And Jack's leaning back in his chair. Wang reaches up with that machete and goes, duh! And then Jack catches it in the air because it just shoots out like a banana being stepped on, being shot out of a peel. And Wang's like, well, what happened? Exactly, why? That's what I was like. I was like, what happened? It was a glass bottle being hit by a machete, and it doesn't get chopped in half? What the hell was so special about that bottle? I to this day, will never understand why that bottle doesn't break. Can someone tell me, why didn't that bottle break? It was a machete hitting a glass bottle. And for some reason, Jack was so confident. He's like, this motherfucker has no idea this bottle ain't gonna break. Oh, here it is. Aha, you lost your bet, motherfucker. What? Number 3. I'll just put a picture of the movie here, the movie poster, and then you'll know exactly what scene I'm talking about. Yeah, that's right. I too want to know, how the fuck does Bruce Wayne get back to Gotham? Holy shit! Oh, I remember seeing this in the theater, and then you see that whole scene where Bruce Wayne is trying to get out that literal hole in the earth jail, which, by the way, there's a number of little, just like, plot holes of wondering how he could physically walk after he's being repaired from a disc shooting out of his back by being hung from a rope by, no proper medical care. Whatever. To make a long story short, Bruce Wayne climbs out and then somehow manages to get back to Gotham City after the movie has established that he has no access to his assets, to his wealth. Like, he doesn't have, like, the Batcopter sitting outside at the top of the fucking prison. He just wanders back. And on top of that, when he's reintroduced, this is the scene, it's Catwoman basically, busting some little petty thieves for stealing an apple or whatever. And then she just goes in to steal from and eats the apple herself. But anyway, Bruce Wayne magically appears in the streets of Gotham after Gotham has been closed off to the entire world with Bane's guards on every bridge, with bridges that are blown up. It's basically a prison island, and Batman somehow just goes do-do-do-do-do-do, just wanders on in street clothes. Actually, it wasn't street clothes. He somehow managed to stop and change into a suit somewhere along the way. And I'm like, time out, movie, time out. Wait, what just happened? Oh my God. I even hear a lot of people bitch about this to this day, and I agree. I'm like, how did this happen? He had no money. The New York, Gotham, whatever, was closed off with Bane's soldiers, and yet, on top of that, like he's like, well, I'm gonna stop home and freshen up, and maybe get a new suit on before I, go into Gotham. I can't go in looking like a prison inmate. Alright, let's just move on. Oh, fuck, does this one piss me off? Fuck, does this one piss me off? Back to the Future Part 3. Again, I love the Back to the Future trilogy. I would say that it's one of the top 3 trilogies ever made if it wasn't for the third one. But mainly, there's one specific thing in Back to the Future Part 3 that just makes me go, wait, what? Why is this happening? Why did they even add this to the film? It was completely unnecessary, and that was the flying time travel train in the end of the movie. Now, I know this movie is like science fiction. It's fake. None of it's real. Like, you can't have a flying DeLorean. That's ridiculous as it is. But when you take something that's ridiculous, a concept, and you stretch it to something that just breaks the side of the movie frame and just transcends into insanity, this fucking train, this flying time travel train, was not only ridiculous, but not necessary. They want to throw it in to show that Christopher Lloyd and Clara Barton, or Doc Brown and Clara Barton, excuse me, have this happy ending. They have children, and they show that, and one of the kids is even pointing at his dick in the scene, if you watch the movie. Anyways, those of you who know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it wasn't necessary. It's like, we get it. They have a happy ending. Like, if they wanted to, like, show, like, you have kids, like, have Marty find, like, a newspaper or something that, talks about them having kids or something. They could have done it any of many ways, is the point. You see Doc carrying Clara off the train on the hoverboard, and you see them just go off, just basically ride off into the sunset. A classic Western ending. It was perfect. It was fine. Doc gets the girl, happy ending. But they have to, at the end, throw in the Doc comes forward, excuse me, to see Marty and show him that, hey, here's Clara, here's our kids, and, you know, we're living happy and healthy. And look, we created this big, ridiculous flying time travel train. There's so many things that I have issue with this. Like, number one, it is beyond the realm of possibility. And again, I know it's science fiction, the shit's fake. But how are we supposed to suspend our disbelief for a second and say, oh yeah, Doc not only created something that was, you know, significantly larger, but significantly more advanced than creating a flying DeLorean. Not only that, but he did it with the previous century's technology. Like, yeah, I know he knows things about the 20th and 21st century in his head. How the fuck would he be able to mock up something that elaborate in the 1800s? That train just, like, I was digging the movie, and I was like, God damn, this is a great way to end this series, this trilogy, and then I see that flying fucking time travel train. And on top of that, Doc eventually has to die, Clara has to die. Are we to assume that no one in the early 1900s finds this train? Finds this flying time travel train? Like, what happens? Does Doc, like, right before he knows he's gonna die, have it destroyed? Does he drop it off a cliff? Does he put it in the sea? Like, what happens? How does this never ever show up to mess up history or the future ever again? Oh, it just created so many loopholes, and it just makes you wonder more than you should be concluding your thoughts in the end of this trilogy. Let's just go on to number one. Number one, it frustrates me on so many levels. I don't even know what to say. The movie is Superman 2. Now, Superman 1 and 2 are arguably two of the greatest comic book movies ever made. But there's a series of events in Superman 2 that just makes me just wonder, why are they doing this? How are they going to explain their way out of this? Like, Alright, in Superman 2, Superman basically gives up all his godlike powers so that he could be immortal with Lois Lane. I don't know. She must have a golden vagina or something, and Superman just wanted to feel like what it was like to stick his mortal cock in her. And they even show like a post-shot sex scene in this movie. And I'm like, was that really worth it? So Superman, in the Fortress of Solitude, conveniently has this chamber that can strip you of all your godlike powers. And he does this because he wants to be a mortal man for Lois Lane. Now, right off the bat, I noticed one specific problem with this, and that is, in order to do this, you have to be at the Fortress of Solitude. Now, the Fortress of Solitude, through the comic books, through the movies, through everything, has always been established to be this fortress in the middle of the deepest, darkest corner of Antarctica or whatever cold part of the world you want it to be. It's basically hundreds, if not thousands of miles. It's always inferred that it's hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from civilization so that it doesn't get discovered, doesn't get destroyed, whatever. And it's never been found, except by Lex Luthor, who finds it later on. But anyway, once Clark turns into a mortal, and he's with Lois Lane, like, even as a kid when I was seeing this, I was like, how the fuck are they going to get to anywhere? Because he's a mortal man, Lois is a mortal woman. How they always got there before is Superman would fly there. So now, you have no ability to fly. Well, you could be like, all right, Lois, let's go walk 1,000 miles to Juneau, Alaska, because that's the nearest civilized city to here. What the fuck? Oh, and that's not even the most ridiculous part. And Sorry, I got hair in my mouth. Anyway, just this whole scene just frustrates me because I see it as one of the most selfish things that a superhero would do. A superhero that has these godlike powers to basically save humanity, right so many wrongs, keep justice and peace, and he does it for some bitch. Like Lois Lane, like was she really that much of a catch, Superman? She doesn't even like Clark Kent. She thinks he's a bumbling idiot. And even when she realizes that Clark Kent and Superman are one and the same, like she's not even really that wowed. She's just like, oh wow, that's kind of surprising. Oh, you want to be with me? You're willing to give up your powers? Oh, okay, I guess I'll fuck you now. Alright. Now, this time, conveniently, once Superman loses his power, General Zod and the members from the Phantom Zone basically come to Earth, Houston of all places, and start taking over the country. And basically everyone's like, you're gonna get fucked up when Superman shows up, and Zod's like, huh, who is this Superman? Bring him to me. I'll make him kneel just like you, Mr. President. But now Superman's immortal, and he's getting his ass kicked in some diner fight, and he sees on TV that General Zod is, taking over the world because he's been, up in the Fortress of Solitude, fucking Lois Lane, and, they don't have cable or TV or anything up there, so he doesn't know what's going on. So Superman's just like, okay, shit. The world's going to hell in a handbasket, and I gave up all my powers for some bitch. So, basically, Superman now, Clark Kent, again, going back to that point I made of how Clark and Lois get out of the Fortress of Solitude, they show Clark wandering through some, just cavernous areas and snow and freezing cold temperatures as a mortal man. He walks his ass all the way back to the Fortress of Solitude, and the thing is, the Fortress of Solitude is destroyed because he destroyed it so that he couldn't get his powers back. And conveniently, he somehow finds a crystal and it just rebuilds. This all is left out of the movie, by the way. Somehow the Fortress of Solitude rebuilds itself and he's able to get his powers back, but you just have to infer that because later on in the movie, Superman appears again outside the window of the press room, of the press offices of the Daily Bugle, and he's standing there for General Zod, like, hey, do you want a piece of me, motherfucker? I'm like, time out! Time out! What the fuck just happened? How did you get your powers back? Did the entire Fortress of Solitude just rebuild itself? How does that, what the hell? Why are you worried about it getting destroyed if you can just rebuild it whenever you want? And how did you live walking back to the Fortress of Solitude as a mortal man? That makes no sense, Superman! By the way, I'd just like to remind everyone that his name is Christopher Reeve, not Christopher Reeves. There is no S at the end of his name, but I already made a rant video about that. I don't get it. I just like, when I watch Superman Part 2, I like to fast forward. From the second the part Clark, that he becomes mortal Clark Kent, to the part where he's standing outside the Daily Bugle, or whatever the fuck, the Daily Planet. The time they stand outside the Daily Planet news window. That's where I like to watch the movie again, because the movie in between that point, it's like a total pussification of Superman, a total, just completely, just like, he doesn't even care about humanity. I'm like, what the fuck? Not to mention, Part 1 kind of has like a big loophole where Superman flies around the world and makes it, spin opposite on its rotation, and it reverses time. Kind of makes you wonder, like, anytime Superman's in a pinch, why doesn't he just do that? Like, anytime, like when he saw, General Zod's taking over the world, he's like, oh, why don't I just fly back and spin the world around, and then right before I turn, oh, wait, he's already immortal, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Once he's Superman, he can basically reverse time whenever he wants. That's established in the first film, but that's for a whole nother list. Anyway, this is my top 5 list of wait what moments in cinema history of the movies I've seen. Like I said, if you guys have any, you want to make a video about it and just bitch and moan about a movie like I did, because throughout my life, as you can see, from Superman 2 that was made a couple years after I was born, to seeing Bruce Wayne wander back to Gotham City in a movie theater just last summer. My God, it just happens all the time, people. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little change of things here. Again, it's a little paying homage to Nostalgia Critic and PMRants for the list of videos that they make. So, everyone, have a fantastic day, a better tomorrow, and try not to freeze yourselves to death walking back to any fortress of solitudes. That's as good of editing as I can think of here. Have a great day, everyone.